This is the greatest intro in the world. Tribute.
Hey, it's Green Machine Comics. We wanted to do a quick summary of the War of the Realms event. If you don't know, the War of the Realms event is Marvel's new event that's going to be like Marvel Goes Fantasy. It's all the forces of Asgard and the Dark Elf realms invading Midgard, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Good old Earth.
So there you go. We're gonna give a wrap up on that, but before we do that, we were gonna talk about BayCon, and BayCon is coming up. It's a big science fiction fantasy convention. I will be attending and speaking. It's May 24th through the 27th, and it's in San Mateo. So please come out. Please come out and hang out and talk comics. Our guests are, we have Wanda Kirchu, who is a wonderful, wonderful friend of mine. JC Arkham is the Toastmaster, and then Gary Villarreal is the artist, and David Brin will be the guest writer. So it should be a lot of fun. I always have a good time at BayCon, so there you go. Back to War of the Realms. What do we know about this? They've got the Black Bifrost is in play, and that's just a new Bifrost. It's obviously it's not the Rainbow Road Bifrost, and that's how they're going to transport all their elements to Earth and take over Earth. And part of it's been being covered in Thor right now, but it's pretty much a Thor-centric event. So let's get into the different books. There is a lot of books, and that's the real problem, I think, is it's really confusing for fans because when DC does an event, generally they don't make too many new books for it. Like I think Heroes in Crisis, they made a new event or new book. Doomsday Clock, they made a new book. But the events tied to Heroes in Crisis, like that wasn't Flash and Batman. That was the price. So generally, DC likes to like use mainline titles to keep the stories going, whereas Marvel will literally create like 6 to 12 books for each event, and it can get a little confusing. So we're here to help you navigate those waters. So we're going to go over each of the books and in each of the books team members, and then what we've dubbed the team names. So the first one is Strike Force, and that's the Dark Elf Realm. And this is basically a team going into the Dark Elf Realms to disable the Black Bifrost. It consists of Ghost Rider, Blade, She-Hulk, or we're just calling her Hulk these days because she's just a Hulk. And then the Punisher and Freya. Freya, the mother of God, all mother of gods. Okay. Freya from Asgard. And then, Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider is on this team. Yeah, it's dope. This is called War of the Realm Strike Force, the Dark Elf Realm, but as we're calling it Team Disrupt Their Power Lines. Or Disrupt Their Supply Lines. Supply Lines. Yeah. So Team Disrupt Their Supply Lines. Should be good. I'm looking forward to that. It's a weird combination, though. They're all really type A personalities that don't seem to work too well with others. Although I would say Robbie Reyes works pretty well with people, even though he's a Ghost Rider, a spirit of vengeance. Next, we've got the War of the Realm Strike Force, the War Avengers. Oh wow, okay. So this is Captain Britain, Black Widow. Let's see, Captain Marvel, Deadpool, Venom, Winter Soldier, and good old Hulk-Verine. Weapon H is on there. I'm missing somebody. I don't know this person's name. They might actually be an Asgard member. Oh, well, anyways. So this one is, we're dubbing Team Hold the Line, the heavy hitters. And these are basically the people that are supposed to disrupt them and fight back on mainland Earth. So that one should be pretty good. Next, we're going to be doing, the next one is Strike Force, the Land of the Giants. And this is basically most of former Avengers and former Avengers that are sort of fighting on the front lines against the Frost Giants, it looks like. Yeah. And so one of the things to note about this is Luke Cage right here has one of the Mjolnir weapons, and am I pronouncing that? Mjolnir? Mjolnir. I've never known how to pronounce Thor's hammer. Or I guess you could say as Halo's armor either. Mjolnir. So Mjolnir was destroyed in the mainline Thor title, and currently the dwarves have been reforging it into other versions of Mjolnir. and they have like lower grade enchantments, but other people have been using the hammer. And one of the people using it is Luke Cage, and I think that is dope. And Luke Cage's version of the hammer looks dope. I'm pretty hyped about that. So on this one, we've got Luke Cage, Iron Fist, we've got Wolverine, we've got Captain America, and Spider-Man. Each one of these people has a new fantasy weapon, save for Wolverine, because his body is the weapon. But we're dubbing this Team Dope Fantasy Weapons, which I think is a good one. Next, we've got the War of the Realms, Spider-Man, and the League of Realms. The League of Realms is a weird thing, I guess. It literally says Spider-Man must Frodo it up and lead this ragtag group, and it consists of Screwbeard the Dwarf, Ud the Troll, Ro Bloodroot the Wizard, Sir Ivory Honeyshot the Light Elf, and Titania the Mountain Giant. Sir Ivory Honeyshot looks like a cowboy, which is kind of weird. It's like an elf cowboy. But we're dubbing this team Team Spidey in a funny hat. I don't know why he's got this funny hat. I guess he's the Earth representative for Midgard, maybe?
Sure.
If you don't know, Midgard is the term for Earth, the Earth realm, I guess. So that's going to be a weird book. I don't know if I'm excited about that book. That looks strange. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Next, we've got the War of the Realms War Scrolls, and it says this is a must-read companion. The only details I've got about this is that Doctor Strange has done something. He's like fouled up a spell, and because of it, Daredevil has to clean up his mess. That's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But it shows Daredevil with a cool-looking sword, and we're calling this one Team Daredevil cleaning up after Doc Strange, which that's kind of odd. Okay. I don't know how to feel about that one either. Like that's kind of a weird one. I'm not entirely sure, but you know what? We'll wait and see. The next one I'm actually kind of excited about. The next one is, let me see. It's this. Okay, so this is War of the Realms Punisher #2, and it's dubbed Monsters Everywhere. And this is basically the monsters of that have invaded have decided that the patients of a hospital look tasty. And they look like good victims, so they're trying to kill these patients of a hospital. So meanwhile, the Punisher flees with them to defend them, and he does it with a bunch of criminals, a criminal element, and they lead themselves into the Lincoln Tunnel. So all you really need to know about this is Punisher. This is Team Punisher plus criminals plus Lincoln Tunnel equals death. Yeah.
Death.
I mean, it's pretty safe to say that the Punisher's gonna succeed in protecting the patients, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But he's gonna sacrifice probably all of those criminals. So so Team Punisher Suicide Squad.
There we go.
That's a good one. All right. Next, we're gonna talk about. Oh God, I can't wait. There's so many books. This one is a bit weird, but I'm a little hopeful for it. This features a lot of characters that we haven't heard a lot from lately. This is called the New Agents of Atlas with the War of the Realms, and this team features Amadeus Cho, Silk, Shang-Chi, Jimmy Woo, and then a whole bunch of new characters. 3 new characters actually. Wave, Arrow, and Swordmaster. And I mean, I'm happy about this. We've dubbed this team Some Newbies, because there's some newbies on it. I'm relatively happy about this team, but I gotta tell you, the one thing that weirds me out is Swordmaster. Like he's got a glowing sword, which generally for me is a recipe for something that's cool. However, they couldn't be more inventive with his name. Just Swordmaster.
That's all you get, man. Swordmaster.
Yeah, Swordmaster. Like Taskmaster is about tasks, and Swordmaster is about swords.
There you go.
I get. The Arrow character, just so you guys know, is spelled A-E-R-O, not to be confused with a red arrow or a green arrow of the DC variety. This is a different kind of arrow.
Okay.
And I wonder if this character will work well with the team because they are aerodynamic. Oh, sorry. Bad pun. Okay. That's enough dad jokes for all of you. Sorry. I am a father first. Okay, next we're going to talk about, this one is so weird. I got to tell you, some of these teams, they're doing some weird, sort of almost tropey things with them. This one is Journey into the Mystery. Now, this one centers around, let's see, we've got Miles Morales, Kate Bishop, Wonder Man, and Baldur the Brave have encountered the McElroys. And on top of that, the kids are babysitting a kid that, I'm not sure who the kid is. It doesn't quite say. But so we've dubbed this team, Let's Make the Younger Heroes Babysit, which is Adventures in Babysitting. Team Adventures in Babysitting. So it's sort of a weird concept. I wonder why they went there. But the McElroys, that's weird because those are like old Marvel cowboy characters that we haven't heard from in a long time. So they weren't even in that cowboy special, were they? That Western special. So, Journey into Mystery. I don't know what to make of it. I think it's pretty weird that they give them the job of babysitting, but okay. We'll give it a try. We'll see how it goes. The McElroys and Miles Morales go camping. Next, we have Uncanny X-Men. Now, one thing before I criticize this book, because I'm going to criticize some things. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg, so we know it's going to be good. Because Rosenberg is pretty much amazing at writing stuff. But War of the Realms, an Uncanny X-Men book, who do you think they're going to include? Think wild, think wilderness, think savage. Who would they include?
Wolverine's already there.
Yeah, but there's a counter to Wolverine.
No, not Sabretooth.
Yeah, because, okay, so this is Team Why Not Sabretooth? I guess Sabretooth is the big bad in this, and they're going out to handle Sabretooth, but so it's Team Why Not Sabretooth. Why not? I guess. Why not? Next. Yeah, next we have Fantastic Four number 10 as a War of the Realms tie-in, and I guess it makes sense. I mean, this is a worldwide thing. They've divided up the whole world, but it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of titles for this book, so this one is called Team Everyone Gets a Turn.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it doesn't even show all the Fantastic Four. There's only 3 of them, and it's Sue, and then I thought it was Franklin Richards at first, but this one is not blonde, so I can't remember which one this is. And Valeria's in there, and
What
so
are the kids, huh?
2 of the kids actually, 2 of the kids in Sue Storm. So, okay. I mean, it's a couple of them. So Fantastic 3. I don't know. It only shows 3 of them. So this next one is Venom number 14, and the thing about Venom number 14 is it says that he has an unlikely group. And I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I do know that the Battle Lines variant shows Carnage on the cover. I have no idea. The Battle Lines variants don't generally give stuff away.
No, they're more cool looking than
Yeah, it seemed like some of them weren't tied to like stuff. So maybe not, but unlikely group is a little vague. I have no idea what that entails. Who else would group with Venom these days? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty wild. But the one thing you should know about this, and it's what we've made the team into, we're calling this team not written by Donny Cates, because it's not written by Donny Cates. I feel like I should preface that.
Oh.
This is written by Cullen Bunn. So I'm hopeful that it turns out well, but you should know that Donny Cates is taking like a 4-book break. Okay, and the next book we're going to talk about is Giant Man, which Giant Man was a running book for a while. We haven't heard hide nor hair of him for a long time, I think. I had to get clarification because I honestly couldn't recognize one of the characters on here. But this book features Giant Man, Ant-Man, Goliath, and Atlas. I didn't recognize Atlas. Goliath, though, I think he was dead. Pretty sure he was dead.
Wow.
So I don't know how that's happening or why that's happening, but we'll wait and see. Basically, this is the team that's put together to go fight the Frost Giants. It specifically says that at the behest of Freya that they're going to go off and fight the Frost Giants. I'm kind of excited because they can all get giant, but we're calling this Team Reebok Pump because you pump them up.
Gigantors.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm I'm actually a little interested in how that book's going to turn out. I mean, they're going to be dealing with frost giants pretty much the whole time, I'm sure.
I think it's gonna be more of an action comic than anything.
Should be.
Yeah.
Next is Asgardians of the Galaxy. This is a... Well, I mean, Asgardians of the Galaxy has been running for a while. It's basically the Asgard heroes out in space and sort of acting as sort of fill-ins for the Guardians of the Galaxy until the Guardians of the Galaxy mainline title. But they're totally separate, and they're both running at the same time. I don't know how I feel about that team. Like they haven't been super popular, and I've been reading them, and I haven't been too into them.
Yeah, it's kind of lackluster.
Yeah. So they're not really my cup of tea, but whoever likes them, you're going to be happy because this is the team kind of like our event. So it just says that they're tied to this and that they've got to go handle stuff and they've got a mission from Freya. So we'll wait and see how that turns out. The next one is a Thor book, and it's Thor number 13. And we're dubbing this one Team It's His Event because it's pretty much Thor's event. It's all based around Thor. And if you haven't been reading the mainline Thor, you've sort of been missing out because it's been pretty darn good. And the art, I think the art has been just top tier. I mean, it looks at times almost like Alex Ross stuff.
Yeah, and he's gotten to hell and back.
Yeah, and I think the cover, one of the variant covers on this is an actual Alex Ross variant. So I'm pretty excited about that. I can't wait to see how that one turns out. Next is A War of the Realms Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 44. And this one I actually like because Squirrel Girl's teaming up with a squirrel in the Norse mythology, Ratatoskr. Wow, that is loud.
Yeah.
Okay. Ratatoskr, which we're going to call this one Team Squirrel. Hang on, I gotta pull up their stuff off this. So this is Team Squirrel. So I don't know, Squirrel Girl teaming up with the Squirrel of, I think it was like Chaos or something wild in Norse mythology. So I'm pretty excited for that one. The next one, which is on the same page, is Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and we came up with a really good name for this one. But basically, Moon Girl is fighting the Frost Giants in her neck of the woods, and she meets up with Thor, which I think is kind of cool, but we're calling this Team Jurassic Dark World. So that one should be pretty good. And then the last one is a War of the Realms tie-ins, and that's... Or is this the last one? No, it's not the last one. I'm sorry. This is a War of the Realms tie-in, and this one features the Champions and Cyclops, which is weird. We haven't heard hide nor hair of Cyclops on the Champions. I mean, he's been in Uncanny, but he's kind of back from the dead. He hasn't been in a lot of stuff.
Oh.
So this one, I don't know why Cyclops is teamed up with the Champions. We'll have to wait and see. But we're calling this Team Adult Supervision because they're a younger team. So, this is a big event since they relaunched their book. So maybe they needed adult supervision. I don't know. Could be. We'll have to wait and see. There's a Vision Battle Lines variant for that one that is amazing. Oh my god. Okay, and then we need to talk about these Battle Lines variants. Alright, the next one is Tony Stark and Iron Man, and this is Tony Stark and Screwbeard are teaming up, and it says Tony Stark vowed never to make a weapon again, but what are they working on? And so it sounds like it could be a weapon, it might not be a weapon, we'll have to wait and see. But Screwbeard the Dwarf and Tony Stark are both technically builders. I mean, not technically, totally builders. Builders, inventors. So we're calling that Team Minecraft. So there you go, Team Minecraft right there. The builders, the crafters. Hi. A lot of chaos in the store today. Next, we're going to do, this is the last one actually. And this is the Avengers, and there's not a lot of details. It just says Avengers Mountain is under siege as the last stronghold of Earth. But we already saw most of the Avengers on split up between other teams, and I think Team Dope Fantasy Weapon was one of the big ones.
Yeah.
So we're just calling this particular one Team Deja Vu.
Okay.
So yeah. And that's pretty much all of the War of the Realms event. I think if I were a betting man, I would say that the real titles that you should probably look into are the Strike Force titles, Strike Force Dark Elf Realms, Strike Force War Avengers, and Strike Force Land of the Giants. And then If you're a Spider-Man fan, you might want to do War of the Realms tie-in, but that one I would say if you're strictly fantasy, because it seems very fantasy. Depending on your brand of flavor in the comics, the Daredevil and Punisher book might fit you, or the Champions book might fit you. However, the weird ones to me are like the McElroys with Spider-Man Miles Morales. That one's a little weird. The Adventures of Babysitting Team. And then New Agents of Atlas seems a little weird, but if you want to try some old favorites, fan favorites, and some new characters, I mean, Amadeus Cho is on that team, which we haven't heard from him in a long time. Silk is on that team, which I love Silk. Nobody knows who she is these days, except for, like, you know, pretty deep habit comic fans. So, and she's got a movie coming out, right?
I have not. Heard of
I
that.
think she has a movie coming out,
Okay.
so we're gonna see her surge in popularity. And then the 3 new heroes, which are Wave, Arrow, and Swordmaster. Terrible name. Get Swordmaster at name, please. And then Uncanny X-Men because Matthew Rosenberg, obviously.
Yep.
I don't know about the Fantastic Four one. I'm a little interested in the Giant Man one, because we haven't had a Giant Man comic in a while, and that seems like an interesting concept. That sounds like might be a lot of big action in that. Big in the literal sense, I guess. The Venom I'm excited about. The Thor I'm excited about. Asgardians of the Galaxy I'm not excited about. I'm sorry. I'm not really a big Asgardian fan. I do want to see what Ratatasker and Squirrel Girl do. Oh my God. And I guess that's gonna wrap up our wrap up. It's not a wrap up.
No, it's a preview.
It's wrap up our preview for the upcoming War of the Realms comics. I hope you guys will jump in and pick a couple books out of this, at least 3 of the mainline titles, I think. But yeah, so that's all from Green Machine.
See you later.